Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Karen Presents. I am Dr. Karen. Today, you are going to be introduced to a conference call that I hosted a few years ago called The Power of No, N-O. The word no has an extreme amount of power, and to be able to move into your next level of life during this year, you need to understand what the word means for your life. The word, two-letter word, N-O. You have to understand when to use it, how to use it. It's about self-confidence. It's about being okay with making your own choices without guilt, without shame, and without second-guessing yourself. If anyone or anything gets a yes in your life, you need to make sure that it is fruitful for you, that you can gain from it, and that is absolutely something you want to say yes to. If you don't know how to say no, if you need to understand ways to say it or get it done, you're going to enjoy this segment, The Power of No.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to ask anyone who is on the line to please mute their phones, and that will be the easiest way for us to have this time. And, of course, this is Dr. Karen. Thank you and welcome to the Power of No conference session, and I'm so excited to have you on the line. I am a person of timeliness, so I wanted to get started right at 9 o'clock, and I appreciate you taking your time. I know a lot of people on the call have had busy days. We all have had a busy day, and I'm not going to have you long, but I wanted to kind of re-look at this topic for some different reasons. I'm going to start off with this quote. No, N-O, is an instrument of integrity and a shield against exploitation. It often takes courage to say, it is hard to receive, but setting limits sets us free. Again, no is an instrument of integrity and a shield against exploitation. It often takes courage to say, it is hard to receive, but setting limits sets us free. And one thing we need to know about the word no, it is and can be a complete sentence, and it does not require justification or explanation. So good evening again, and welcome to the Power of No conference call. This is your life and transformation coach, Dr. Karen, and I want to say welcome to everyone who is on tonight and those who will be joining us. If you've just come on the call, if you would please mute your phone. I'm not going to mute the lines. I want you to mute your own phone to make it convenient, and I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me know that you will be on tonight and sharing this with others. I've gotten so many phone calls and text messages. People are excited. And this started off as a call just for women, but I have some of the guys who have joined, of course, and that's great. So I welcome everyone. This is for our total freedom and empowerment. Before we get started, I want you to make sure that you have your pen and paper ready. You'll want to take a few notes, and you may just write, yes, that's me. Whatever you need to do, check it off, because the power of no always brings out information that we start looking at ourselves and wondering what we're doing. So be sure you get your pen and paper out, and when you hear something that is for you, you make sure you write, yes, that's me, and it's over. If you are on Twitter, let's go ahead and let people know we're on here at Karen L. Donald, and we're going to use the hashtag Power of No on Facebook as well under Karen L. Donald on my page, and I posted a pic of our call, and so you can comment right under that picture. Our hashtag tonight is Power of No. So I want to thank everyone on my mailing list. If you are a guest of someone else that's on my mailing list, then, of course, welcome. And I invite you to take time to visit my website and just put your contact information in at www.karenldadonald.com. KarenLDonald.com. That's on the web at KarenLDonald.com, and there's a guest page that you can put in your information. So it's 9:03, and I'm going to continue to go forward. If you're on the call and you have not muted your line, please make sure you do so. We really appreciate it. So let's get started. A few events that I've presented or hosted, I would say in the last couple of months, we've discussed goal setting, finding your passion, overcoming fear, power of change. We've discussed guilt, procrastination, time management, stress release, and a lot more. With all these topics comes something in common that I always bring to the attention of especially women, because we carry a lot. Men also have a lot of responsibilities, and that's understanding the power of no. N-O, a two-letter word that everyone can agree holds a lot of power in our lives, whether it's business, social, family. It is a word that we have to use and be brave enough to use it the right way and know when yes is right as well. We can become victims of our yes and have to go through so much to be able to look back, to reset and find the reason why we said yes. And usually too many times it's out of guilt or being desperate, maybe in need of finances, a friendship, wanting to be accepted. What is worse, the people who we said yes to will not help you out of your mistake, of your dilemma, because they are taking advantage of the fact that you said yes. Now, understand about what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can never say yes. What we're talking about now is the power of no. Your no, as people have heard me say, your no needs to be rightfully said, and your yes needs to be respected as well. And I tell people, make people work for your yes in some situations. So remember that this is not like your everyday norm when you say yes or no, but even with those two words, you have to consciously think about your answers and take time. With any other decisions you're making, those two words are very powerful. But tonight we're talking about overcoming the fear of saying no, the power of no. A lot of people that I speak to, after they hear us say that, they go back and think about how many situations they're in because they said yes, or how many situations they're in because they did not say yes, and they chose to say no. But mainly the no, that's the part that we want to discuss. Something funny that happened to me this week, and I'm sure it happens to everyone, and I just can't make a note of it. I made a note of it today. But have you noticed that there are those who can say no to you immediately all the time? And you kind of think about how that makes you feel. You think maybe they're mean people or they're just direct people and they never are sympathetic or empathetic. They never care. And if they even begin to answer the door or phone, they won't text you. They have no problem turning around and telling you no. But when you're trying to get in touch with them for something, they have no problem asking you for help. Where you always ask them for help, they say no. They have no problem coming to you asking you for help because they know you're going to say yes. What I stressed at one of my workshops is it's time for you to also have that strength and realize the value of your gifts and talents and time. Learning how to say no is learning how to balance your life. Learning how to say no is learning how to balance your life. If you're just joining us tonight, this is Dr. Karen, and this is the Power of No conference call. We are recording tonight, so if you would please mute your phones so we don't have any background noise, I would definitely appreciate it, and thank you so much for being on. If you're on Twitter, on my page on Karen L. Donald, or if you're on Facebook, our hashtag tonight is the Power of No. Let people know that you're on and you're listening. and there's things that you're getting. So let's talk about no. And it's such a simple word, only 2 letters. Yet saying no out loud is harder for most people than saying anything else. It's harder than saying, I'll be glad to. It's harder than saying, when do you need me? It's harder than saying anything, a little word, because it's connected to so many things in our life from the past and moving forward. Now, children always say no. They say no very quickly, especially in the time that we often call the terrible twos. And that's because their parents are saying no to them. So when my children were little, and they're 2, and I have twins, when they're walking around touching stuff, we're going, no, no. We're constantly telling them, no, no, no. So we get upset when they turn around back at us and say no when we ask them a question, but they actually learned it from us. But as they grow up and as we grow up, much of what we have to do through experience and being able to keep people happy around us, we begin to see the reactions of no. We lose the word no out of our vocabulary, and then yes too many times. Saying no to someone in authority or who we have put in authority over our lives is never accepted or expected. They don't expect it from us. And I say that again, saying no to someone in authority, it could be a parent, it could be maybe a boss, a supervisor, a manager, it could be someone within a community, it could be faith-based, or it could be someone for some reason that we fear authority. We figure in our mind that they will never accept no from us. And it is very hard, because that is when we start feeling that if people have some kind of control over this next part of this decision, that's when we start getting nervous, things start happening. And if you're thinking right now and you're writing things down, I want you to write down just some of the few reactions that you've had when you get ready to say no. And I say get ready because most people, you do a lot of thinking before you say it. Then you go into a different kind of reaction after you say it. And underneath it, we believe that saying no can cost us a lot in our adult lives. We are really feeling that no has a heavy price and we could lose a lot. And what we want to be able to remember is that no can actually save us a lot. And one thing that my son brought to my attention, we were talking one day, he was doing a seminar and the people were talking about the power of no. And one thing that came up is that it is not fair for us to even judge what the other person may feel. We can't judge them for not saying no. What if we don't say no and we work on a project and the person sees it not go well, or you're not able to complete it, you're not feeling well, say you won't say no to someone calling you all the time. To babysit is a big deal. People often have a hard time with that. Or working on certain projects with, say, your church or your community center, and you're not feeling well, and then somebody says, oh, I didn't know you weren't feeling well. You should have told me no. I told you that I had someone else that could do it if you couldn't. But many times we don't hear that part. We just go into a whole mental thing about, oh, my goodness, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to say? What are we going to do? I better say yes. So it's not fair either. And when my son Chris brought that up, I said that is a good point. It's not fair either to prejudge how a person is going to react. Usually we do that based upon something in our past. If we told someone no and they didn't want to speak to us anymore, or they were pretty manipulating us and making us feel bad, you may say no based upon your past, and it has nothing to do with the present situation that you're in now. As management, as leaders, as people, that are out there with purpose and passion. Being a leader is very important, and one thing that's very important about leadership is being able to say no and yes with the confidence that comes with it, because your decision can change the temperature or develop the temperature of everything that's going on. When men and women are abused or have lost a lot in life or are afraid of being alone, rejected, or even hurt, no is very hard to say for fear. And you'll hear a lot of people, a lot of people are on the call from different community organizations that may work with at-risk population, different people. You'll find that when you ask a question of why did you not say no, they'll tell you, I was afraid. Especially when you have a lot of people who have even suffered, like I said, some form of abuse. Saying no becomes very hard because saying yes may ease some of the pain, and the person is still in pain. So it becomes important not only for us to understand, but for those that we are working with, those that I'm counseling, those that I coach, those that you speak to, even people in your household, your children as they're growing up, your teenagers. You want to be able to teach people about making positive decisions. The best way to overcome that fear for anyone is to try to move into this area once and then again and then again. People who have tried this have told me that when they had to say no, so many mental, emotional, and physical things happen. Sweating, heart beating fast, sick stomach. So you know this word has too much coming with it. I went through much of my life with the fear of no because of being an only child and wanting to be accepted or have friends around. As an adult, I had a hard time saying no in the past, from people wanting me to be involved in their business deals, their social times, the times of going to events that I just didn't have time to participate in. You know, there's a lot of different things, and those feelings from my past would sometimes come up because I would not want to be rejected by the people who invited me someplace, or the people that wanted me to be a part of a project or something. I started remembering, and I had to see that. I was remembering what happened to me in my childhood. But seeing my talent and gifts, putting through the fire, I still gained nothing. I would want to have these people around. I had a hard time, but them seeing my talent and gifts put through the fire, I would go through so much, and I never gained anything. And in the end, I had to pull myself out of trouble, the constant harassment that I allowed myself to get pulled into. And in some cases, especially business deals, the money I thought I would get, I got nothing. They got it. I had it worse before I started because I had to recover. I had to get myself back together. A few people that are on the call know of some things I went through last year. I got involved in a business deal, and I'm going to go more into it, but I said yes when I should have said no because everything didn't look solid. Everybody started calling me because they knew I knew how to handle this business. And it went on, it truly to me, at first I felt like it wasted a whole year for me. I got involved in business deals at the beginning of 2016. Nothing seemed solid, nothing seemed correct, but I got involved because of what I thought I needed. And I could have gotten it a lot easier if I had just listened to my purpose, dealt with my passion. But by the time I was through the ringer with these people, I was literally, I was praying, and I was just like, God, please take me away from these people. Some people know they were asking me all the time, are you finished with these people? What's going on? And they knew from my yes that there was a measure of desperate that I needed this money. And because of that, I honestly did well over $40,000 worth of work or more. And I was literally getting fed pennies or nothing at all, trying to fix this, get out of it, get it over with. My family became involved. I had other people helping me. The bottom line is I should have said no. So the thing is, to everyone, when you have a purpose and a passion, there is a positive energy that goes with that other people see. You are picked out for someone else's yes and their gain, and it should be a no, so you can handle your business and see your life move forward. And I want to repeat that. Everyone, when you have a purpose and a passion, there is a positive energy that goes with that other people see. They can see that in you. They can see that you're a giver. They can see that you're an administrator. You can put things together, that you're talented. And some people are just going to look for that person and get a yes from you for their gain. And the next thing you know, the distractions are making you begin to feel like you're failing. You begin to procrastinate, and you really don't know why, because you can't see a way out of anything. You're trying to figure out what's going on, why are all these walls around me, and you don't realize it's because you're not in your right place at that time. The next thing you know, you feel as if your life has passed you by and your purpose is never discovered and for your destiny to be fulfilled. And we do not want that to happen. That stops now. And I'm not saying quit your jobs. I'm not saying walk away from things that you know are being fruitful in your life. I always tell people, your places of employment, if you know deep inside your destiny and your passion is to run your own manufacturing company, where you are now and in the positions that you are, all these are steps in your process. And to everything there is a season, and you have to begin to be brave enough to see your season. You can go ahead and get ready possibly to retire from a particular position. And I always tell people, do you have your next step ready? Because your destiny has had it where all these circumstances are coming together for what's happening next in your life. But some people that are listening tonight, you know for sure that there should have been a no, or you should have made someone work for your yes, and you might have been in a different situation. And honestly, it is good that if you feel it right now and you felt it before you got on the call, possibly that is confirmed with you right now, we need to start looking at how you can take your situation, make it good for yourself, and get yourself back on track. One big thing that comes from this is self-sabotaging behavior. And you start believing within yourself that you don't have time for yourself. You know, someone can ask you to do something and you can have time for them. But when it comes down to your own projects, your own plans, whether it's taking free time, there are people on the call, you know, I've told you, free time. There is some time for you. I had a young lady at one of my breakfast meetings. I have breakfast meetings here in Detroit, and we were talking, and she just kept saying, Dr. Karen, I don't have time. You do have time. The thing is, if you've given all your time to someone else, and then later in the week or in the month, we end up meeting people that tell us, I wish I'd taken the time I had when I was healthy, the time I had when things around me were set up for the good of what I needed to do, the time I had with my children before they all left and went to college, before they went on with their own life, the time I should have had to spend time with young children. We don't get that time back. A lot of things you can associate this with, but never say you don't have time. And the answers that we say, I don't know how. You do know how. It's just that right now all your time is consumed with someone else's yes. And we have to learn how to rally ourselves together and get ourselves back, because you do know how. I know you know how, because you were born with a purpose, and that purpose inside of you says how. You might say, I don't have enough money. No one will help me. However, the person or people that you said yes to when you were not supposed to did not see all that when they were taking your time. They felt like you knew how to do it. They felt like you were the perfect person, and they felt like with or without enough money, you're going to come help me. So remember, I'm not teaching you to be a person that's not giving. I'm not teaching you person that's not loving and caring. I'm telling you to really, really think about and discern when you say your yes and when you say your no. And tonight we're talking about the power of no. For those of you all who've just joined our call, this is Dr. Karen, and we are on discovering and understanding the power of no. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, I want you to send a hashtag that you're on this call, the power of no, and just maybe something that you've picked up from this call to let people know that we're on here. So let's move on to, I'm not going to keep you all very long. This basically, and if anyone's on the call and you have not muted your line, if you would do so, I would appreciate it. The call is being recorded for the future, and we want to make sure that everyone's comfortable. This call actually came from, like I said, a couple of meetings that I had, and the word no came up in stress management class, and everybody was saying, I have a stress management class for parents. I have no idea how to say no. For business, I have no idea how to say no. For healing, I have no idea. I mean, I coach people all the time, and we're talking about how to overcome our hurts and our disappointments and our problems from our past, and that word no comes up. I had a session that I did for the state of Michigan, and the person that called me in for the session, we saw so many positive goal-setting things that happened over about a 4-week period. A lot of it, we had to take people back to their personal passion, redirect them. And when we started talking about how to say no and make decisions for themselves and not allow people to make decisions for them, that's when we felt a lot of stress. We had a lot of tension. We even had people that started crying in the class. I mean, it was really something else. The actual person that called me in to teach this class told me that she had been under so much stress from her supervisors and different people because she felt like they were pouring extra work on her that didn't belong to her, and she felt like it, but she really knew it. And it was one of those situations when you go for your annual review, I've been there, where they're reviewing me for one position, but I've been working 20 or 10 or 5 because people put stuff on me because they knew I could handle it, and I didn't say no. And my parents are saying, don't do that, Karen. You can't keep doing that. I would do it all the time because I'm creative. I like working with people. So this young lady is seeing this, and she said, you know, and she started crying in the session. This is the lady that hired me to speak to her students for 4 weeks, and she realized that she should have said no. She said she was afraid to say no because she was afraid of being fired. But at that time, she kept crying, and she was holding her chest. And I stopped and asked her during one of the exercises when everyone was away from us, I said, are you okay? And she said, I don't know, my chest has really been hurting me for about 2-3 days. And I knew she'd been working on this big project and doing a lot of running. Long story short, she went to the hospital that night, and she was threatening a heart attack. She went right after that session, and she realized that heart, that problem that she was feeling, that stress, those headaches, the upset stomach, not being able to eat, all these different things was because she did not take control of her life and say no when she should have. And for a supervisor, I mean, for people, if this wasn't even a supervisor, I found out putting work on her, this was her co-workers, her team of managers who are supposed to take care of their part or their area, and she was doing it all. So I want someone to know tonight that you have to be able to take control of your life and understand what belongs to you and what doesn't. So we have different types of no's, and I've studied a little bit of other writings, and I like what people say, and so I like this. It was called the unassertive no, and this is the no when you have excuses that go with it. You know, you want to rationalize your no. Karen, do you think that you can come over and help me paint tonight? And I say, no, I really think I would really like to, but my leg is hurting, and I'm thinking, I understand some people are supposed to be coming over, and, with my leg hurting and the people coming over, I'm going through the whole excuse. And so what happens with this is that it could backfire, and it's a lie that's exposed, and then what's going to happen is I can't even support where I stand because someone sees me 15 minutes later running down the street because my leg is not hurt and I don't have any company, and so I should have just not tried to put a whole bunch of excuses and rationalizing and all that. So that's the unassertive no. The aggressive no is when you say no, like someone says something to you like, can you come over, Karen, and paint the house? And I say, are you kidding me? And I'm not doing all that. You want me to run around and do this? And sometimes the aggressive no includes an attack on the person making that request. Like, you must be crazy. And I am not going to do that, and I'm not going to take on any project that's not important, and you don't have to be that way. And we know a lot of people like that no. They are so aggressive and no, that's it, But then there's one that I really liked, and it was called the assertive no. It's simple and direct. No, I won't be able to help with that. If you like to offer an explanation, you can make it short and simple. No, I really would. No, don't say I really would like to. You say no, I won't be able to take on that project. I already have a commitment. And you stick to it. Now, 900 people on this call are saying right now that I won't even tell people I have a commitment. I'll change my plans because. So the because is what you want to write down. Are you because, they really need me? No, they don't. They keep calling you because you keep saying yes. If you have a commitment to me on Friday, I want to be just as important as the person that is making you feel guilty because you won't say no. So you can make a little excuse, but you can be sure about what you're saying. So let's talk about a few little strategies for that, and I'm going to get ready to end this call. When someone makes a request, it is always okay to ask for time to think it over, okay? And when you think it over, remind yourself that decision is totally up to you, how you want to do the yes or a no. I always say again, make your no stand and make someone else work for your yes. Make the yes worth it. What is it worth to them and mainly to you? Even with a price tag attached, what is really the price? So if you want to go back to them and say, give me a few days to think about it or I'll think about it, you have to remember that it has to be up to you, guilt-free. You have to look at your calendar. You talk to your family. You think about how you're feeling. Are you overly tired already? Have you been complaining because you can't get any rest? Do you have some free time finally this week? Maybe the children are away at camp. You're going to summertime. A lot of you are going to have children maybe going away for a few days or, you remember we hear the stories of how our parents always were sent down south, and some people still do. They go visit their grandma every year during the summer. Get a break. We have to do that, and so you don't want to have people occupy your time. If you are in person and you give an assertive no, people that shake their head no with their voice, they're saying no to you and they're shaking their head. If you shake your head no, you're telling them face to face, this is what this really means. No, I can't do it. I apologize. I hope you can work it out. Remember that no is your honorable response. Be okay was no. And you want to be honest to yourself. Another point, and that we talked about, is we don't want to prejudge what is going to happen when you say no. And remember that that's based upon your past, okay? And so if a person is really in a bind and they see how busy you've already been, they understand if you say no. Some people are just desperate and they're asking a lot of different people, but you have to be honest to yourself and let the sweat go, let the guilt go, do what you have to do. If you say yes when you want to say no, you will feel resentful throughout whatever you agree to do. And everybody can raise their hands and shout right now, yes, yes, yes. How many times do we say yes to something we should have said no, and we are angry through the whole thing? We complain. We say, oh, my goodness, this is too much. I don't know why I did this. I am not sure why. We are so resentful that it feels bad. And so you know that this cost you energy and discomfort, and it is not necessary for you to have said yes when you should have said no. And that lets you know that it was something that you shouldn't have agreed to. Now, start your sentence with the word no. It's easier to keep that commitment when you start the sentence off if the first word out of your mouth is no. No, I cannot do this at this time because I'm just too overwhelmed right now, but I will be rooting for you and praying for you to get the help you need. Take care, because you may let them talk you out of your no. So you have to say no first, have your reason, and then I say, bye-bye, take care, rooting for you, help you get that person, because if you keep on letting them talk to you, they may talk you out of it. The main thing is that you want to believe that who you are and what you have to offer is important to the world. This is the reason why you were created. Many of you on this call have stressed yourself out too much to the point that you are so overwhelmed. Some may be unhappy, not getting the most of your moments. Make it a project on purpose after tonight to say no to something. And it's something that you can say no to like every day. If you think about it, tomorrow, look at your day, the way it goes, and look at how many things that you can just say no to, just comfortably, just to understand how it feels. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and hurt people. I'm not telling you to go out there and be rude. You know exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying the things that people will try to throw on you and the things that people will try to do to you. I'm not saying the natural times of being a yes. If you said no to some things, you would have more yes for you, more yes for your family, more yes for your children, for your projects. There's so many people with businesses that need to be launched, and there's so many people with great ideas. Some of you want to volunteer at your local shelters and maybe start a soup kitchen. We see stuff on the news where people are packaging up lunches and taking them out to people who are homeless on the street, and we're going, oh, my goodness, I just don't have time for that. I did that and started looking through my calendar and said, these things should have been no. I need to make more time for myself. I'm going to end it here. I hope this was helpful to all of you. I love what I do, and I'm walking more into my life and working and coaching men and women because I finally made no a part of my life and made my yes mean something. And I wasn't able to walk into what I was committed to until I learned how to say no to the things that were not purposed for my life. And even though it looked good, it was not for me. And so my prayer for you tonight is that you will begin to see your purpose in your yes, the power in that no, and that you will begin to walk in this guilt-free, and you will be able to take control of who you are and what has happened to you through your life that made you feel bad and made you feel insecure or made you feel that no is unfair. Even if you lived a life where you heard no all your life growing up and it just did not feel right, there's still times that your no can be solid and your yes can be okay, and even your no can be okay. I just want you to know that there's a lot of power in that. And a lot of people laugh at me because I tell them your purpose, your talent, your gifts, and your moments are not for sale. You cannot allow a person to continue to pimp your life or people. And I use that word, and people laugh like, oh, my goodness. I said, that's a real word. You cannot allow yourself to be used up so much that at the end of what you want to do, now you're tired, you have no interest. All the doors that were open for you are shut because you were so busy saying yes to something else and working in someone else's yes and not working in your yes and telling them no. If you're in the Detroit area, real quick, I'm hosting a personal mentor program in June that I will be helping to guide those who are working through, though, if they're working with people who have problem relationships, childhood trauma, and more, or those who wonder if coaching and counseling is for you, if you would like to do that. You will experience what it means to be restored and heal from your own pain and trauma to help others. And so my mailings have gone out and registration has begun. If you have not received an invite and you would like to look at it, make sure you email me at CoachKarenD@gmail.com. That's CoachKarenD@gmail.com. I'll send you the information to reserve your space. I'm offering it for a special bonus just for the month of June, so you don't want to wait. And to my community that is out of the state, I want to get you and your groups on the same kind of wonderful training. So email me your interest, and I will respond so we can go over it. I would love to come to your city. A lot of you know I've been talking about getting to where you are. We're working on some programs for Atlanta. I'm working on some programs right now for Charlotte, and I have some people that have contacted me from Texas, so we're going to get ready to move forward. Well, this is Dr. Karen, and I thank you again for being a part of this call. Practice no every day and make your yes matter. Be sure to go to my Facebook and Twitter page to make comments, and I look forward to being with all of you very soon in your city, either by webinar or live events. Until then, remember, every day you live is a second chance at life. Every single day you live is a second chance at life. So make every moment matter. With love and God's blessings, have a wonderful night, and everyone have a safe holiday weekend. God bless you and good night.